Shark bait. Ooh ha ha. Hi, internet land.
Bubbles. Sorry. Just going for the theme.
Just keep swimming. No, just kidding. Hi, guys. Welcome to the Finding Nemo podcast. No,
Shark,
just
please.
kidding.
Oh my gosh. P.
Off to
Sherman
a
while we
great
wait.
start.
P. Sherman while we
Yeah.
wait. Sorry. This
Mine.
we're way off now. We've just lost the demographic. We got no chance.
No,
touched
because
the
we're
butt.
hyped. He touched the butt. Well, no, we're hyping up Finding Nemo because, like, part of the movie took place in Australia, which is where Elimination Chamber is going to
That
be taking
fucking
place.
segue, Mikey's saving it.
Wow. Good job, Mikey. Nobody would have noticed. Good job.
Saving the day, one, transition at a time. But hi, internet land. Welcome back to another weekly edition of the Friday Night Faction Reviews, your weekly WWE Smackdown review team. I am El Jefe himself, Mikey. Joined with me, as always, is... You love him, you know him, you can find him almost every single week on the AEW Dynamite reviews, and we're slowly indoctrinating him into the cult of Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
The professor himself, John. It is so happy to have you back again for another Smackdown.
Hi, everybody. And I'm honored to meet this masked gentleman who seems dashingly handsome for just a chin and lips.
That is very true. And you have seen him on multiple occasions over on the Raw Squad reviews for WWE Monday Night Raw. He recently was on a 2-week hiatus looking for Minnie, but he has found him and put it back in the basement. Senior Luchadont, welcome to the Friday Night Faction Reviews. It is nice to have you back because it's been a while since we've had you over here on SmackDown.
Minnie was on SmackDown, but Minnie's in the basement, so
Yeah.
I had to come do it because Minnie doesn't deserve to see the light of day.
It's fair. Yeah, it's fair. Yeah.
He believes that Kenny Omega is a great wrestler, so he doesn't get to see the light of day.
I mean, that's why he's in the basement, not because he does magic tournaments and Walmart parking lots and stuff.
And this In-N-Out parking. It was an In-N-Out parking lot.
Oh wow, that's even shadier, I would think.
Yeah, but no, yeah, he's there and he's struggling because he thinks Kenny Omega is a good wrestler.
Kenny Omega is a good wrestler, isn't Kenny
See,
Omega
now
a good wrestler?
Now you need to go into the basement too.
Oh
No!
wow. Okay.
He's going to come find us now. Before we get in trouble with the Kenny Omega fans, because we're going to get canceled, like I said, we're here for another WWE SmackDown review. This SmackDown takes place in Utah, and it was on Friday, February 16th, 2024.
Why'd you say it? Utah.
Utah?
Sorry.
Look, the United States is a very weird place in general, but Utah is the unicorn of the United States. Like, nobody really talks about Utah. It's very mysterious.
Okay, nobody would talk about Iowa if it wasn't for Slipknot and Seth Rollins.
You took the two things I was going to say that I was known for. Good job there, Lucha. Don't. I was like, what about Slipknot? Utah, if you've ever driven through it, not to go tangent because I know we got to truncate these things. Utah, it's fascinating. Salt Lake City has 200,000 people, but Salt Lake City Metropolitan has like over 1 million. And it's like, wait, what? So for SmackDown to go to Utah, go to Salt Lake City, it's just jaw-dropping to me. Like, that's such a big little city, if that makes any sense. Like some of these towns. Not to talk all the... Yeah, I mean, Mormons will double or triple your population. Anyway, sorry, Mikey. I tangented that. Go, Mikey, do what you're doing.
No, because the magical unicorn city that is Salt Lake City, Utah, it's like the biggest, smallest little town.
A bunch of
It's a
crybaby bitches.
Which we'll get to towards the end when we get this final segment. But the contradiction of Salt Lake City being the smallest, biggest metropolitan area is exactly how to describe this SmackDown, because it was full of contradictions. And there was a lot of things that happened to progress Elimination Chamber. And some of it was great. Some of it I have questions about. But also, just to break the news too, this Friday night episode that we saw was the first of 2 tapings they did in Salt Lake City, because they double taped, because they're going to air the second taping on Friday since everybody's got to get on a plane to head to Perth.
Oh, so the other SmackDown for this coming Friday is already in the can.
The go home show is in the can.
Ooh.
Nobody got
Damn.
hurt, so I'm assuming that nothing insane happened because we haven't got any news reports. Unlike
I guess
NXT,
so.
Which we'll talk about it when we get to some of the women qualifying matches, because that kind of threw a wrench in certain things. And as one of the two, well, actually one of the three now NXT hosts, I'm here to report on all that since it's tangentially related to the SmackDown.
Yeah,
But
fair.
let's just jump straight in. SmackDown opens up. We get our second to last men's Elimination Chamber qualifying match, which saw Kevin Owens taking on Dominic Mysterio. Before the match even happened, I love that Salt Lake City, Utah still gives Dominic Mysterio crap
So
and
good.
grief.
he
Booing
said
him at the
something. I don't
building.
know what he said. I think it had something to do with the Judgment Day,
So good.
but he got booed like normal. You gotta stop booing my boy Dirty Dom. I want to hear his promos.
Someday they're gonna
No, I
stop booing
don't.
him, and he's not gonna know what to say.
I really
He's
don't want to
gonna
hear his promos. I hate promos, but
I thought Utah was.
he.
Go ahead. He
I
what?
think Dominic needs to retire the 619. He needs a different finisher. Just saying that.
I don't know if he has a finisher. We'll talk about that in a second. I thought the Utah crowd was pretty good from the get go. Actually, we've had a lot of other crowds the last few weeks, SmackDown and other promotions, where it was like, "Are you out there? What are you doing?" But I
Y'all
Well,
paid.
When
not
was
to
the
win.
last time you've heard a wrestling event in fucking Utah?
That is very fair.
mean, I'm pretty sure the wrestling events they have are out in Provo in backyards with flashbulbs. Like, there's probably some
Right.
crazy suckers out there.
But like a major promotion going out there, it was like, yeah, they're gonna be crazy because this shit never comes to Utah.
Sure, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's better going to Moab and watching homeless people knife fight under a bridge. Although that you could probably watch.
That
if you really
could be
wanted to.
more entertaining than some
That
things
could
that we've
be.
seen.
That seems more like an Arizona thing to me, not a Utah thing. I feel like I would see that up in
No, in
Moab.
Arizona we watch skinwalkers eat other people. That's about it.
That I'm willing to go camp out and watch. You see, we're already on a tangent. The three of us.
Listen, it has been a long. It's been a while since me and Professor had a third co-host. Let it alone be my going in like my Raw Squad co-host over here. So it's gonna be like this for the whole episode, and I'm here for it.
I can't wait. I want to go see Neil Luciai just eat some people right just out of nowhere. Anyway, I like this match. Let's go back on that. I thought this match was pretty good. I thought the pacing of it was okay. Not a lot of risks because nobody wants to get hurt. And it also, like we were discussing, there was the 4-hour taping. So, you got two back-to-back. So who knows what else they had to do. And it sounds like Dom would have had two matches in one night. So Dom's trying not to totally get crushed. Some good moments in here. The frog splash that KO threw at one point. It looked like Dom got his elbow up or was in a weird position, so he fell on that elbow, and that kind of took the wind out of KO for a little bit. That X Factor looked a little clunky, like we like to say around here, so I thought that was... Other than that, though, everything was solid. It flowed really well. It was kind of fun. I love seeing the R-Truth, just raising hell and doing the wrong thing in the right way every single time. I thought that was fantastic.
Dom needs to retire the 619.
But every time he does it, everyone hates him, and that's why it works, though.
But he looks so bad while doing it because the motherfucker is 6'2".
It makes it better. He throws it badly.
He needs something. He needs to come. Like he needs to leave his dad shadow and do something different. Also, when was the last time we saw Three Amigos get completed?
That is very fair.
I don't know if I've seen a Three Amigos get completed.
I don't think I've seen it since Eddie was alive.
Really?
No, that is very fair because every time Dominic tries to go for the Three Amigos over on Monday Night Raw, it never gets to the full three.
And they both went for it tonight, and they both didn't hit it.
Who was the one? It might have been Raw. I saw a clip of this where they kept interrupting it, so it ended up being like 10 Amigos, but it was two
you know
and
what?
two and two
I
and
think
two.
the only person I've seen recently actually competed Three Amigos was Logan Paul.
Oh, why you gotta remind me? You're right. God.
We'll talk about him later.
When he first started, when he was with the Miz.
Yeah, you're right.
I think that was the last time I saw a Three Amigos get like completed.
Oh, Maria. Yeah, you're not wrong.
But yeah, Dom needs a new finisher, like how JD McDonough just got a new finisher on Raw.
Sure.
Dom needs the new finisher. He can probably still rock the frog splash as the finisher. He's a new way to set it up.
Yeah, easy. Yeah.
Let him complete the three amigos. I don't know.
I'm kind of in an agreement here. I feel like not necessarily retire, but don't use the 619 as a finisher because Dom's really top for it. But also, it's not just Ray anymore. You have Io who does it sometimes. Zelina does it too.
Selena landed one in the turnbuckle. Like, whoa, that was crazy to watch.
And it works because she's super tiny.
Yeah. When you're 4'5", you can do that stuff.
We love you, Zelina.
I'm not. I'm just.
So I also want to put it out there. Ray is 5'6". Dominic is 6'1".
Sure.
That's a big height difference.
There is a major height difference. That's why Ray can throw that move like it's nothing because Ray's legs are tiny.
Was Dom 6'1" when he was like 12 and 13? Was Ray yelling at him like "Go to bed"? Like looking up at Dom?
No, I think they were the same height though. Because
That was
Dom is
Dominic
like
high school.
Like if you look at Dom and Ray, there is no way in hell you'd be like that's their dad. Because even Ray, without his mask, there you can see the similarities, but mostly because Dom one has a mullet.
That adds like 2 inches on camera.
No, he just has a mullet, which like Ray doesn't have hair.
I've realized this.
But
Where are you going with it?
It's so hard to tell that they're actually related.
This is great content. I love this so much.
Just because you
So like
you don't shave your head and then forget who your kids are. What are you trying to say?
I don't think Ray and Dominic are related.
Are we going back to the
Oh no, I think Dom is
2002 arc on Who's the Child thing?
Yeah, I think Dom is truly Eddie's son.
Oh no.
Oh wow. I mean,
Because if you look, young Eddie in WCW in his early
Sure.
WWE days had a mullet.
had a mullet and he was 6'1". You're right.
I don't think he was 6'1", but
The point being, we gotta stay on track, people.
Go, Mikey, go. We told you this would happen.
I don't know what I was going for there.
It's okay, honestly, but that kind of is a testament also because Dominic didn't know what he wanted to do either, because he tried to get R-Truth to give him a chair, and R-Truth correctly did not listen, which allowed Kevin Owens to kind of try to go for the win, but then it continued for another 5 minutes, but ultimately,
Yeah.
okay, this is gonna be controversial to say. I like Kevin Owens. He picked up the victory here. He's going to Elimination Chamber. I think he's gonna do great. I kind of wanted to see Dominic get a big litmus test with the Chamber, but given of how badly it can go if you're not prepared for the
Sure.
Chamber, Kevin Owens is the better choice.
I had a moment about halfway through this where I thought, oh, are they going to let Dom go over? Are they going to let Dom do this?
I would have been.
Go ahead.
I would have been okay with Dom going because we need somebody to take the big chamber bumps, and Dom has been known to take the big bumps for everybody.
Sure. I could be. Yeah. I when R-Truth came out, I thought, oh, they're going to do Kevin dirty and then kind of mess this up. So the bait and switch kind of worked for me. I don't hate Dom being in that spot. I think we're lucky that Dom is a patient performer and willing to sit in this Judgment Day arc as long as Dom has, and where that's going, and sit in this heel thing for as long as Dom has. Someday when the face turn happens, he's going to explode. Like he's in absolute the best position of any of these wrestlers, in my opinion.
Then he's going to get cheered so loud you can't hear his promos.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's going to come out. He won't even have to talk. Like it's just a matter. He's going to soak up everything. Particularly now that The Rock's there, he can soak up that charisma. Now that some of these other things are coming into focus, everywhere Judgment Day is going, I think he's going to be something. He is something, but he's on his way to something much bigger.
It's the
Super
mullet.
excited stuff. It's the mullet.
Mullets, man.
His face turn, he's gonna cut the mullet.
He comes
That's
out
what
like Cody, had neck tattoo, blonde. Like, wait a minute, what?
We
In a
get him
suit.
reverting back to like the old school Dominic days, like when he was younger.
It's so funny.
Frosted tips and everything.
Pure boy band Dom. Yeah, that'd be
Oh,
fun.
that'd be hilarious.
Such a new
So-
fashion. Call it NSYNC.
Yes.
Please bring NSYNC out and just have them all get rocked by chairs just to see what
Ah.
happens.
It's,
That'd be,
NSYNC versus the
Just
Spirit Squad, dude.
Backstreet's back.
Oh my god.
All right. Bam.
Fact-
Just Backstreet Boys come out and rock them with chairs.
Survivor
next
Series
mile.
2025, dude. NSYNC versus the Backstreet Boys.
For all the old people. Yeah.
It's a triple threat too, because then the Spirit Squad comes back.
Oh my gosh.
See, we're just booking things out here, but Kevin Owens picks up the win. He's going to Elimination Chamber. At this point in the night, there's only one spot left, which we'll talk about who ended up getting that final spot later. We get two back-to-back backstage promo / segments. First, Drew McIntyre is talking, and then he stated something that was very true. At this point of the night, after Kevin Owens had just won, and looking at the field for the men's competition, why is Drew the only Raw superstar being represented in the Elimination Chamber? Everybody else is on SmackDown. Like, what happened?
I have to point out too that Kayla looks like a child standing next to Drew McIntyre. She could
Everybody
barely get
looks like a child.
She was
to Drew
yeah, but
McIntyre.
her chin was barely in the screen. That cameraman did not even try to get a depth of field in there.
Drew McIntyre's a tall boy.
I loved this promo. I love that McIntyre was talking about getting interrupted, and then LA Knight shows up and interrupts him. I thought that was really funny. I love that, and you all would understand this too. That whole tough guy breaking up the fight. We're not fighting. We're just talking thing. We're just talking. We're just talking. We're just. It's like, oh my god, that's every high school, every job you've ever had dealing with kids.
I can definitely justify to that one.
No, man, we're not fighting. We're just talking. We're just talking. And then fists happen after you say we're just talking.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this is great. It sets up for, well, what would have been later the night for them. The go home show for us would be McIntyre LA Knight, which is great.
I'm getting a phone call. What the fuck?
Minnie's calling from the basement.
Probably. Hold on.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Solid promo. Worked. Short. Told a story.
For sure. And then we get this back up where we have Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate backstage as well.
Yeah.
Tyler Bate has dubbed their tag team name the New Catch Republic, which I was just like, I prefer British Strong Style, but all right.
Yeah,
but Pete Dunne didn't agree with the name. He's just sat there and he just looked at Tyler. He was just like, didn't even say words.
This is the first time I think I've seen a Pete Dunne promo officially. Pete Dunne has some tough British teeth. He's got some fangs up front, which just adds to his character and charm, in my opinion.
This was the funniest thing on the planet because Dominic comes in and, you know, he says that you two aren't going to beat the Judgment Day. It's like, you can't beat anybody. And Tyler's like, all right, well, let's have a match between us and you and R-Truth, you know, members of the Judgment Day. And Dominic gets so mad. He's just like, R-Truth is not in the Judgment Day, and then walks off.
But then
Minnie wanted tacos.
And then that's the match we're getting, right? Is Catch Can Republic? Can Republic? What do we say?
New Catch Republic.
New Catch
and
Republic.
They're going to be taking on Dominic and JD McDonough. We know that Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne are probably going to win because you don't want them losing before going against Finn and Damian at Elimination Chamber next week.
Absolutely.
R-Truth is like not even going to show up.
That's so funny.
That'd be great, but I laughed so hard at this promo, specifically as Dominic was walking away and Pete Dunne called him a Muppet. I was like, I'm here for British slang comedy. It is so fun to watch.
It's perfect.
It's beautiful. So then we get a women's elimination chamber qualifying match. And before we get into the match itself, so a lot of things changed with the women's qualifying matches. As of last week, we had some matches set up for us. And then over the past week on Tuesday, because they also double taped NXT, so they taped this week's episode and next Tuesday's episode because a bunch of people are going to be gone in Australia. So this upcoming week, we were going to get an NXT Women's Championship match. Lyra defending her, Valkyria defending her title against Shotzi. And it was reported that the match stopped because Shotzi blew out her knee really badly. And then on Thursday, Nick Aldis hit social media saying Shotzi is not medically cleared, so we're changing it up. And so this was one of the changes. So this women's qualifying match saw Zelina Vega taking on Tiffany Stratton to see who would go into the Elimination Chamber. Also, Legado del Fantasma was at ringside with Santos, Humberto, Angel Garza, and the La Madrina herself, Elektra Lopez. Uh
Dude, we about to have Mexican faction warfare in WWE right
oh,
now.
absolutely.
I has a few things. Shotzi came out on the Twitter and or the X saying she was devastated, which is awful for her. She's always since I started here at Biconics, she's kind of been in that mid card push, and we've been waiting for her to get there. And it seems like every time she's kind of there, it gets pulled back in some way, or injury, or something else. So I hope that this doesn't kill all her momentum. I'm really interested to see how long she's out for. I don't think the women were phased in a wrestling sense. The matches we got were still great. I hardly have any notes on this match because I watched it. And I'm kind of there with Lucha Don't. Are we getting this sort of this animosity between people of color, for lack of a term, for not wanting to say gang war and get this thing flagged? You know what I mean? It's sort of like
It's faction warfare.
It's faction warfare. Is that okay? Right. From the makers of Raid Shadow Legends, faction warfare. Which side of the border are you from?
Hey Raid, hit us up.
Hey Raid, give us promos in the middle of our stuff. So I don't hate it. I kind of like that there was a tension there for this match too. It's kind of bummed the way that's kind of what led to it being the ending. However, that being said, this match was great. I had a fun time watching it. I had no problem with it.
Baller.
Done. Said it.
Done.
Nailed
Said
it.
No, and we talked about this
Perfect little
briefly off camera too. Is this like Zelina Vega may or may not have her ribs crushed.
Right. So yeah, Tiffany Stratton has that fantastic moonsault, and since she's got up, she's kind of sort of pseudo missed it every time.
It's hilarious how this is all happening, and then there's like, I'm not saying this to be racist, but like it's a lot of like the Hispanic culture people that are in the match, and then there's Tiffany Stratton. Right? Because there's like the big thing going on with Zelina and LWO and Santos and his group.
Sure.
Right? And they're like,
just there.
And then there's Tiffany Stratton.
If it works out perfectly, Tiffany walked into the wrong neighborhood. Apparently,
have you
no. And every time there's a big like party with a bunch of Hispanics, there's always one white guy because one of the ladies is always dating one white dude. She was the white guy.
Haven't you heard the white person story or the Englishman story? So this started as an Irish joke. Sorry, tangent. This started as an Irish joke where it was if two English neighbors are fighting, it's because a British person talked to one of them the day before. And I've heard that joke told in California. It was the same thing. It was like, yeah, if two Mexican neighbors are fighting, it's because a white person went next door, talked to him the other day, and put that thought in their head. So there is some sort of meta cosmic, oh yeah, the white person gets out unscathed while everyone else is fighting, not looking at the prize. So, y'all went there. I just said it.
Okay, I was trying not to go there. I made it not to be racist or anything, but
you can't start a sentence like that.
You can't start.
I was quoting the Vine. Not to be racist or anything, but people. I can't even do the sound she made.
But in the end, this is a great match. I think Tiffany Stratton belongs on SmackDown. She's doing great work. They're booking the women's division, which is great and not something they were doing over the summer for sure. So that's exciting. This led to a promo we would get a little later on, which I think was a little undercooked, but still told a story to me. So I kind of like where the women's division is going. I wish there was more, but I'm glad to see it there.
We loved it. This is going to be a big test for Tiffany because she only recently got called up to SmackDown and she's going to be thrown into the chamber.
And she's great for it. I think she'll be great. I'm excited to see it.
Great. I just hope all the women come out unscathed because we don't need nobody getting hurt before WrestleMania season.
Please, no more injuries. No.
Please. So then we cut backstage where AJ just randomly pops up near the OC in the locker room, and then a fight breaks out between him and Carl Anderson.
Yeah.
About AJ forgetting where he came from and just being disrespectful to the OC.
Yeah, why?
It's because they wanted to throw up the old school AJ Styles from TNA when he first came back as the big emo boy.
Is that what this is? This is emo kid AJ?
This is Lone Wolf AJ from TNA, but in WWE. But we talked about this before, Professor. It hasn't been working out so well for AJ.
No, AJ is kind of stuck in this mid card purgatory still, which I've been talking about for a while. And the OC, they just don't know what to do with him. They're giving Minchin play, which is something.
The problem is you can't put AJ in a main event spot when the main belt is tied up with fucking Roman Reigns for the past 19,000 years.
Yeah, that doesn't help, and that kind of creates that bottleneck for storylines and contendership. Right. You're not wrong.
That's why I'm hoping, for the love of everything that is holy, that Triple H finally lets Cody win at Mania.
No, he's not going to let him. They're going to ride this forever.
They're going to make him be Bruno Sammartino's record.
They're going to get him. They're going to get Roman the record. They have The Rock there, so what they'll probably do is they'll get some weird Rock Roman thing, and then they'll get Cody in the mix another time. They're going to string this along as they can.
That's the worst case scenario. The best case scenario is Cody finally gets the chance to win, but who knows?
I'll put it out there. You saw what happened when we told with the fans when we thought Cody wasn't going to main event Mania. It destroyed the internet. What's going to happen if Cody loses a second year in a row?
They'll make money hand over fist, and The Rock will still be there holding it up, and then we'll all be distracted from the Vince McMahon thing, and they'll get what they wanted.
Vince who? Who are you talking about?
I almost said it.
Vince who? Who's this Brock Lesnar dude you're talking about? Never heard of him.
Broccoli lozenges.
The next big thing wasn't that Batista? I don't know who you're talking about.
Where's Batista now? Go, Mikey, go! Go, Mikey, go!
He's living his life as a actor. But yeah, I don't know what we're doing with AJ and the OC. We'll see what happens. I mean, it might lead to something for WrestleMania because really after Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania is the next stop for WWE in terms of pay-per-view. So they have all of March to figure something out. So we're going to see what happens. Then we get a pre-taped little segment. I'm not calling them Damage Control anymore because it's not the same without Bayley. And plus, I don't like that name for our 3 champions. So I'm reverting to their Japan stable name. We get a pre-tape segment with the Black Lotus triad, which is Io, Asuka, and Kairi. Which, thank goodness, Smackdown finally let them do the same thing that Shinsuke's been doing on Raw, cutting promos in Japanese with subtitles. It's more effective and more scarier that way.
It's more effective. It's more fun. It's more genuine. It totally works.
I like the Black Lotus triad. It's better than the Soccer Moms.
That's right.
Is that what you were called? That's what you're saying?
There's a little callback there to Friday Night Fights.
The Soccer Bombs. Look, listen.
The Sakura bombs. We call them the soccer. Axel called them the soccer bomb. I don't know if it was you or me, but we call them the soccer bombs because we couldn't understand their name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's an inside joke where you should all go check out that lovely podcast because that's kind of where we all got together before coming over here to Biconics. And stay tuned because there's some stuff being in the works to who knows do a little.
Look out for the mahogany doors.
I was just gonna say it. Is this mahogany? Bow.
But I really enjoyed this pre-tape segment from the 3 of them.
Yeah.
Because I just love Asuka, Io, and Kairi.
They're great. They're having a blast. They're being showcased. They're part of a story. They're going somewhere. I talk about this on most of my reviews. It's like if you give these performers, dare I say, actors, action to do, they're going to run with it. They're talented enough to do it.
And so I'm going to tie in like the other thing we got with former Damage Control members into this as well. Because later in the evening, we saw Bayley and Dakota Kai have a conversation backstage.
Mm-hmm.
Dakota Kai is losing her mind because she's afraid to get jumped for siding with Bayley. And Bayley's was like, girl, like, this is the plan. You don't worry about you. You just, if you're going to hide, I'm going to take care of this.
Sure.
And I was like, Dakota's about to side with our girls at some point before WrestleMania.
Something's going to get weird. Is she still hurt? Like she can't.
I don't think so. She's not wearing the knee brace no more.
I haven't seen it. I don't remember seeing it last time.
She was posting on her socials what her ring gear looks like and stuff like that. So I think by Mania I think she's gonna get involved at Mania,
Good.
Okay.
Okay.
and I think she's ready to start taking bumps and everything again.
Fair enough.
Which is nice because she's been out for a year and I missed Dakota Kai in the ring.
Goodness.
So now we get our obligatory squash match of the evening, as we like to use the term over on Ring of Honor.
Squash match.
We have some NXT folks, Javier Barnell and Bo Morris, taking on the Authors of Pain in a quick 2-minute match where the Author of Pains like ran and dog walked these two
Oh yeah.
to pick up a win.
Fine. I mean, I don't mind seeing it. That power bomb, that suplex to the leg catch power bomb thing is smooth. That is scary.
AOP is so good.
They're
but,
great. I like them a lot. I mean, this is really only the second time I've seen them in the ring since they kind of appeared randomly a month ago, maybe a little more. I'd like to see where they go. You know,
So their initial NXT run from a while back was insane.
yeah. Cool.
Then,
I'm excited for it. Yeah.
then he who shall not be named was like, these guys are weird. I never used them.
Yeah.
it's-
We're the
I mean-
weird ones. We're the
Yeah.
weird ones.
right.
Your guys' manager is too old. This is weird.
Hey guys,
I was
this one's
so
called
upset.
Sean. Anyway,
Anyways, this sets up what we find out later is that the AOP is going to be taking on the Suit Profits next week, which I'm like, oh, Montez and Angelo are about to. I hope it's a lot closer than I think it's going to be.
so that's why it was a squanch match, because they were wrestling the Suit Profits like an hour later in the taping. Oh my goodness!
You're like, we got to do this in like 45 minutes, so let's not try to overexert ourselves.
let's just use this.
What's the actual name? What's the super? Is it like?
They're
God,
known
what's
as-
the?
The official faction name is the Pride, with Bobby Lashley, the Street Profits, and now honorary fourth member B-Fab, formerly of Hit Row.
Oh, thank God! I learned this the other day. RIP to one of the greats. The last time Bray Wyatt was seen on WWE TV was him and Uncle Howdy interrupting Hit Row.
Really?
Yeah.
Over a year ago.
Oh, I didn't. That's wild.
No, then I saw this like dope promo that Bo Dallas dropped, and I'm like, they gotta let Bo Dallas come back and just continue and just like end the Bray Wyatt and Sister Abigail story. Because like the way he was cutting the promo and everything like that, it was like, I was like, holy shit!
We'll see.
Oh, it was incredible.
But
I
again,
gotta find it.
if it makes sense, they're not going to do it.
Well, okay, no. This is different now. This is Papa H in charge without the meddling of
I hope so. Papa
the
H.
weirdo in the back.
Papa H still makes me nervous because.
He's a
Anyway.
lot better than what we had in the past 15 years.
You are not wrong. You are not wrong. But he's still very, very connected to the McMahon.
It is very
whatever
fair.
that is.
But speaking of things that felt very
Mick Hope?
wrong, watching Logan Paul on my television screen. Because we got
Okay.
his backstage interview with Byron next.
Mhm.
And I was like, look, I get it. Logan's not defending the United States Championship in Perth. Gunther can't travel outside of the country because of visa issues, which is stupid. They won't let him leave the country.
Why? What?
I don't know the whole situation, but anytime like they go international,
What?
I don't know if it's the type of visa Gunther has or what's going on with it, but that's why we're getting Gunther versus Jay for this Intercontinental Championship on Raw this upcoming Monday, tomorrow at the time of this recording, versus Elimination Chamber, because Gunther's visa won't allow him to travel outside of the United States. And I think it's a condition because he doesn't have, like, for a green card process, like, you have to be in the States.
Gunther can't leave the United
Or-
States for the next 6 months due to residency regulations.
That's
Yep.
what I was just reading. Yeah, as a non-immigrant visa applying for immigration through a green card, he absolutely has to stay in the country until he. Oh, that sucks.
Which makes me think he's doing it now, because then in August, when they have that big pay-per-view Bash in Berlin, which is literally in Gunther's backyard of his home country,
Yeah.
he will be able to go to that one.
Wow, what a mess. That sucks.
Yeah. Which means that depending on how long it takes him to do it, I don't think he'll be allowed to go to Backlash in May either, which is in France. Because Backlash is going to be in France. And then I'm not sure how it works, but then in Money in the Bank is in Toronto, and then Bash in Berlin will be in Germany. Oh no, yeah, Berlin, yeah, Germany. Duh.
Man,
I know my geography.
that's brutal. I mean, it's one thing if it's, I did something in my past, they won't let me in. It's another if it's just red tape. Like that's tough to swallow.
That's a whole nother conversation we can have about changing the process of how people get green cards in the United States,
Yeah,
but we're not here for
that
that.
would be a fantastic Biconics topic.
We'll just lock him in the basement.
Is that why Minnie's in the basement? Because Minnie was trying to become an American citizen? So you just locked him up?
No, he's in the basement because he likes Kenny Omega.
That's he's very anti WWE, which is how I feel about Logan Paul. His promo did nothing for me. It's,
Logan Paul
I'm gonna
is
beat the Miz.
awesome.
Oh, what, guys?
Right. Heel turn.
What, guys? This was a great podcast episode.
Thank you for joining us this week. I have an empanada scale. Mikey, what do you think?
No, we still got a half a show to.
No, I want to put it out there. Since I'm not sure, like I've watched a few episodes of Logan Paul's podcast. Like the episode he did with John Cena, and the episode he did with like Randy Orton. The amount of he's may not be like perfect, but he's like maturity wise has grown so much.
Oh yeah.
Like he talked about the incident in Japan in the John Cena episode and how much that was the dumbest fucking thing I've ever done in my entire life, because he looked up to Dwayne. That's like one of his big heroes was The Rock, and he was doing stuff with The Rock, but right before that happened, and then it happened. He goes, "Not only did I piss everybody else off, I let my hero down." And I haven't even had a conversation with him about it yet, and I don't know if I can. It was the dumbest fucking thing I've ever done, and I regret it every single day. I'm like, he knows he fucked up, but he still is like feeling bad about it.
Sure.
He might be, the rich streamer douchebag, but he's still a human, and he knows he fucked up.
That's very,
like,
very
if I was to say to watch any episode of Logan Paul, that podcast he has, watch the John Cena episode.
Very, very fair. And he has matured a lot. I can't say the same for his brother. That's a whole different conversation. But so this just sets up what we're getting later. Then we get WWE's favorite thing for us to do here on SmackDown. We get a recap episode. We get a recap segment.
Recap of Raw.
Yeah, we get a recap of Raw, specifically the recap of the Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins
segment. Guys, it's fine. Don't watch that. Go to the Biconics YouTube channel and watch our review of Monday Night Raw, where we talk about that, and it's going to be incredible. You just skip past this on SmackDown and watch it on the Biconics, then come back and watch SmackDown.
It's probably shorter. It's probably
I will say though, me and Lucha Don't here actually when we talked about it on Raw, go watch the actual promo because it was actually really good.
Oh, it was incredible. Chills.
And which is crazy because Lucha Don't doesn't like promos, but he was like, I watched that whole entire thing. So we got that recap, which then leads us into our last men's elimination qualifying match: Miz versus Logan Paul.
Don't you mean Hangman Logan Paul?
With the buckshot there. Yeah.
I've been watching things he does. I think Hangman Adam Page is Logan Paul's favorite wrestler.
I mean,
because he does so much of the same stuff that he does.
And I hate to say it, and we said it on multiple occasions, but Logan Paul's buckshot sometimes looks better than Hangman's buckshot.
Logan Paul is just insanely athletic, and it's unfair.
It is. But this match, though, I was like, this is actually pretty decent.
I thought it was good. I wrote down twice that Logan Paul was hitting Miz really hard, and I was waiting for a receipt. Because some of those shots in the first maybe 2 or 3 sequences, I was like, he's really laying into him. And then
Miz also could have told him to do it.
He might have been, but then there's a part about halfway through where the Miz flipped him around, threw Logan in the turnbuckle, and did that Mad King Eddie chops. Bam, bam, bam. Got him 3 times right in the chest. And I was like, oh, maybe that was the reminder. And then Miz pulled him out of the turnbuckle, and they kept going like, hey, calm the hell down. There were some fun sequences in here, though. These two work well together. I think I don't know how much they were calling in the ring, but what else did I write down? That's when it was. There was so everyone loves the Miz, but they're taking all their cues from Logan Paul, and it's fascinating to just kind of see how wrestling's turned into this social media. I'm only alive if I'm sharing it on my phone thing. And the crowd's all in on being in on what Logan Paul is as this social media whatever. So the Miz is trying to negotiate that on top of Logan doing this meta performing stuff. That was, I mean, not that it worked or didn't work. It was just interesting to see that there was moments where Paul would take time to do things with the fans and bring it back into the crowd. It was interesting to me.
Well, it's wrestling's become very meta. I'm not sure, like with everything that's been going on with, how they're making kayfabe a thing again is making us blur the lines of, is this legit?
But like to stop the match for
to stop the match
a second to take the selfie or to make the joke because the guy's got a camera, like that's a trip to me still.
It's I mean, God, I'm completely spacing on names. He was the U.S. champion before Logan Paul.
Theory.
Austin Theory. He's been doing that. That was his thing for a while.
Sure.
He was doing that, and it got him over really, really quick. So it makes sense the social media influencer is doing that. And I feel like it works for his character very well.
Yeah, it makes him, I mean, it does make him just a bigger douchebag.
Which is what he's going for.
Can I say douchebag, or does that get us demonetized?
Nah, you're fine.
Lucha don't already swore in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, the first second. As soon as we started, fuck. So we're fine.
That frog splash on the apron was pretty brutal. There were some good moments in here for sure. I personally think the ending was kind of anticlimactic and sort of dull. I get fighting over the brass knuckles, fine. But Miz took shots the whole time. You mean that one shot is the one that got you? Okay.
I feel like they should have given this win for Logan Paul. Like if they planned for Logan to win, they should have just given it to him clean.
Sure. Yeah.
Because his every win he's had in the past 7 matches he had has been something to do with brass knuckles and another dude in the crowd.
Well, because
or something like that.
Because the Miz takes the knuckles, tosses them, so he doesn't have them, but he hits him with just this bare hand, right?
Well, that's always been his finisher, is that KO blow, because of him being a boxer.
Yeah, but I don't buy it.
It's the same. It's the same with Big Show. Big Show was also hitting people shots all the time, but when he hits you with that one, it would knock you out. But because he also has the titanium plated, because his broken hand or something like that was another thing he has.
It's just falling flat to me.
It is. He needs to win clean. They got to stop doing all this fuckery. Like we said when we talked about the Rumble and everything like that with his win over KO.
Sure.
We expected Logan to win, but we didn't expect him to win because KO got caught with the brass knuckles.
Right.
That was dumb. They should have given him the win clean and called it a day.
So yeah, I mean, this match didn't wow me, but it was serviceable and solid. I enjoyed watching it, but I wasn't like, oh, hey, do you remember?
It was just another match on the card.
Oh, it's hard to say because I like The Miz a lot.
Which is because The Miz in the past year has improved his in-ring ability significantly.
Seriously, dude was a champion for years, though, right?
It's been a while since he's been champion, but to kind of go off of what Senor Luchadon here has said, the last year Miz has done a lot, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm one of the few people that really enjoyed his match against Gunther at War Games for the IC title. That match was really good.
I want you to keep in mind, The Miz has been wrestling for WWE for 18 years.
Yeah, man.
He debuted in 2006.
Yeah.
So he's been here forever.
And when he's gone through so much, because you could argue, and this is a tangent, Mikey, and I'm sorry, and the following tangent is available on the Patreon. Please go to Patreon to hear me talk a bunch of crap.
Nah, we're keeping this in.
Damn. I'm sorry, Mikey. If you look at The Miz, and The Miz came out of reality television, early 2000s, right? Where there was this idea of you're not talented, you're not special, you were just on a show where we got to see you react, and then the media and the fans were all around you. Miz goes into professional wrestling and then gets kicked out of the locker room. I went and read up on those stories after I heard him talk about it.
Chris Benoit, he
has to prove himself as a performer, makes some mistakes, obviously, has a few botches, has to earn his way up, gets a lot of respect. it's not too dissimilar from what Logan Paul is doing, going into social media, starting with Vine and his brother. I never watched them. I hated him. I've said that so many times, and I can't believe it sounds like I'm rooting for him, but I'm not. All I'm trying to do is draw a parallel between the two and where Logan Paul's come from, what he's gone through to pay your dues this way, to get respect this way. You could argue Logan Paul far more athletic from the get-go. Are we doing an old school substitute demonstration on yours, Lucha Don't? Do you have
No, we're trying not to
slides?
break
I'm breaking
kayfabe.
kayfabe. I have to. My face itches really bad, and I can't see anything.
He's
It's
put a
just
lot of-
funny to me to see the trajectories of both of them and how they've become champions and how they've been treated and what they've done. It's fascinating to me. I mean, if I was writing a book about it, that's kind of where I would start. Just go, here's this type, here's this type.
It really, really is.
Sorry, Mikey. That was a tangent.
No, it's okay.
Go ahead, Mike.
No, I love it. I mean, we don't really have a lot left to talk about. So Logan Paul picks up the win. So Logan has earned the final spot. So now we have the full entire men's elimination chamber card.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about in our predictions video, which will be airing a couple hours before Elimination Chamber this weekend.
We're gonna do the Smackdown thing, aren't we? We're gonna record too.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Might as well because
Wow.
because Friday night Smackdowns, the go home's already in the can, and plus by the time we review the episode, it will literally be the day after Elimination Chamber, which doesn't make any sense, but we'll go from there.
Same thing with Rumble. We might as well not record this episode because we have to do Rumble.
So that's why we're going to do the predictions video after this. But anyways, moving on from here, we are backstage with Nick Aldis, who has the SmackDown contracts with Braun Breaker and Jade Cargill. And Nick is trying to have business. And then Tiffany walks in because in the room is Liv and Bianca as well, watching all this go down. And Tiffany is just stirring the pot, making enemies as the women's roster on SmackDown, which is perfect for her character.
Yep.
And I loved it because Jade gets involved. She's like, I know we ain't doing this in the middle of my big business. And she didn't even sign the contract. I'm like, dang it, Tiffany. I want Jade on SmackDown. Like, come on now.
I think it's been confirmed already that she's going to SmackDown.
Probably.
Is she? Well, it might have been. Well, we don't know because the contract signing might have been in the second half of the taping.
Maybe.
I thought this promo was great. I thought it was short and sweet. It told me something. That broken mirror dress that Jade was wearing was
So good.
gorgeous. As a theater person who hangs out in costume shops and likes to sew a little bit.
I want her and Bianca to have like just a video be like, because both of them we know can sew. So I was just like, because Bianca and Jade's ring gears are always my favorites, anyways.
Sure.
And then we know that both of them make their own stuff too. So I was like, let's have a fun video where they try to make each other's gear.
Ooh, that'd be trippy. Yeah, I'm not against that. Sure.
Great content, but this sets up Tiffany still being annoying, which is great because it works perfectly for her character. And we get confirmation later that it's going to be Liv and Tiffany next week on SmackDown, which I'm here for. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be great. We then get confirmation that at Elimination Chamber, we're going to have the Grayson Waller effect.
Yeah. What'd you do?
Which
Yeah, it looks like your neck's kind of broken and you're staring at your feet.
So, but you know what? This will be a perfect time. So let's do this real quick. So,
hey, you're here.
Yes, the Matrix was glitching for us. Apparently, we come to find out that all that messing up was Minnie. You crawled your way out of the basement.
I heard he was talking shit about Kenny Omega. Then he said Logan Paul was a good wrestler, so I had to come back from the basement.
That's what got you out of the basement this whole time? Did you just like Kool-Aid man the door, or did you go through the vent, or what happened?
I'm too big for the vent. I broke through the door and I unplugged his camera.
Oh, did you keep the mask as like a I don't know what I would call it, like a totem? Yeah, you go. You take the mask off.
The hunting trophy.
Yeah, trophy. That's the word I couldn't think of in the moment.
When you take the mask off, he disappears. So he'll be back at some point to put me back in the basement. For now, I'm here.
You gotta do the Claudio thing and chew it.
We won't go down that road again. I'm still not over it. But, Minnie, it's happy to have you back. And you're just in time because we're in the home stretch now of the SmackDown review.
Did you get SmackDown down in the basement?
Oh, I get everything in the basement.
Oh, good. That's good. That's good.
Everything
All
but
right.
Ring of Honor.
Oh, dang. Okay,
But that's the good one. That's the one you want in the basement.
That's what everybody tells
we
me.
gotta figure out a way to give it to you via contraband down there. Anyways,
Yeah. We
so
gotta keister it.
I mean, that's a whole lot of imagery we won't discuss. Let's get back to it before this thing goes off the rails more than it has already. So, before the Matrix decided to blow up in our faces, the last thing I was going to say before the Matrix happened is that we get confirmation that the Grayson Waller effect is happening at SmackDown, which I'm pretty sure is just setting up whatever is happening with Roman, Rock,
Sure.
Seth, and Cody.
Which the Grayson Waller was wearing a straight 1999 rock heel shirt, if anyone
Seriously.
caught that. Like, damn, look at that thing.
So we're getting a talk show segment at Elimination Chamber, which should be interesting because those never go well like they're supposed to.
Yes. And they're fine. I think they're kind of.
It's a
I've
way
never
to
like
get
we've talked.
specific people on the card that they normally didn't have a match for.
And I've ragged on it a lot. I think it's okay. It's just, in my opinion, there should be more wrestling. Put a match there. Do more like this. It's just filler to me sometimes. It drives me nuts.
So yeah, Grayson Waller effect at Elimination Chamber. We move on from here. We get our next women's Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Alba Fire stepping in for Shotzi, kind of, not really, because everything got thrown out of the way, but she will be taking on a returning Naomi. So this is Naomi's first SmackDown match since returning at the Royal Rumble. She got a whole new entrance with a banging theme song.
I like this match a lot. I thought Naomi looked great. The hang time Naomi got on that leg drop was gorgeous.
I love her hair.
That,
The fact that her hair says her name.
mhm. Her hair said her name? I didn't
Her
notice
hair.
her hair said
If
her
you
name.
if you look at her hair, the way she has a dye, it says Naomi in her hair.
Oh my
On the
gosh.
back of it. That's something she's been doing since she went to TNA back in April last
That's
year.
cool.
Every time she wrestles, she has her name like printed in her hair, which is so good.
That's pretty sweet. I like this match a lot. That Bulldog DDT off the ropes looked violent. I thought they worked great together. This was a great match. Again, I tend not to take notes in the women's matches because they're always really good. I'm like, I'm watching the thing.
And
Yeah,
of
that sounds
course,
about right.
Naomi picks up. Yeah, the Naomi picks up the win, so she joins Liv, Bianca, and Tiffany Stratton in the Elimination Chamber, along with Becky. This women's this women's chamber is stacked.
Yeah, it is.
It's gonna be so good, and I'm happy to see that we got some big names. Like, not to say that not everyone's a big name, but you have Becky and Bianca, probably your two biggest right now. But then you got a lot of people who the fans love, like Naomi and Liv, and then you got the newer stars like Tiffany, who's in there, and we have one more spot. And we learned this past Monday Night Raw that we're gonna have a last chance match to see who gets the final spot. So my money is still on a certain Jade Cargill, but who knows at this point.
I don't think you're wrong. I mean, we could wax poetic on that at some point.
Tune into the Monday Night Raw review to figure out who gets that last spot.
Hey.
Hopefully, it's me, not the Luchadont.
For reals.
Yeah.
So then we get a quick on-ramp segment. Nick Aldis brings Braun Breaker out. Braun Breaker officially signs with SmackDown. Yay for Braun. Finally, he's on main roster after we've said for how long he needs to be on main roster, which is also really weird because him and Baron Corbin are your NXT Tag Team Champions, and he just went to SmackDown.
I feel like we've been saying Braun Breaker should have been on the main roster last Stand and Deliver after his match against Carmelo Hayes.
Sure. Well, that and like, we don't want to take up time with this, but what are you doing with these belts? You're just kind of running some of these NXT belts into the ground, and
I think
another promotion does with another promotion's belts on another show that I review. It's like, what are you doing with it? You're just drives me nuts.
I think Braun is probably going to be doing 2-time with SmackDown and NXT, and I think they're losing those belts at Stand and Deliver in April to whoever's next in line. So we'll see what happens with all that. Then we get to our main event, which is weird because it's a promo segment, but this is the last thing that happens on the show. We take like 20 minutes to have Roman Reigns come down to his entrance, and then we take another 15 minutes for The Rock to make his way down. And then we get into the nitty gritty of this promo, which is Roman and Rock both calling Utah out. some mild incestuism jokes, maybe potentially, because collectively they're all dumb, and I was just like, ouch.
Something something inbred something something. The
Yes.
Rock dropped classic Attitude Era lines
Yep.
on the crowd and just buried them. Let me educate your ignorant asses. It's like, oh my god, I haven't heard that since I was 12 years old. Thank you, Rock, for saying that out loud. Jimmy is in the background just laughing and smiling, like, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. Like, you watch him and he's genuinely like, this is great. This is so much
the best
fun.
moments of my life.
I'm having such a good time.
Oh my gosh.
The Rock invoking Michael Jordan in Salt Lake City is just beautiful salt in the wound to those
Oh my
people. I think
God,
that's
that was
fantastic. I again, The Rock is still cutting the best promos in the business, and The Rock doesn't even have to talk. Like, I'm willing to watch you. Ripping folks to shreds. He was waiting for the downbeat in the crowd. He was listening to them boo and then calling them out for it and all these other moments. He tripped up on his words at one point because I think he got a little ahead of himself, but The Rock just murdered it. I do still feel like this is a hasty Band-Aid on a mistake. They obviously thought they were going to go one direction and then pivoted quickly, and now they have to fix it with calling everyone crybabies. You wanted Cody in the
Entitled
story and
crybaby
whatnot.
bitches.
I mean, and The Rock sold it and kind of straightened the ship. But for most of us, not most of us, for a good amount of us, we still kind of see that, you kind of hastily jumped tracks thinking one thing and this thing and inserted yourself into this. So I'm warming up to it. And they haven't written themselves into a corner yet. But like we were talking before we started, I'm actually interested in the Bloodline now. We had that 8-month lull last year where I was like, I'm done with this. I'm not interested after the Sami Zayn plot line. And now I'm kind of okay. I'll bite.
It's watchable again.
Yes, I'm actually interested. Show me something different.
So, I mean, we kind of saw this officially at the press conference last week. It's felt longer than it really has been. Sure. Oh my god.
So many things.
It's been a long
Seriously,
week.
It's been a lot. The press conference was only really a week ago, and
I guess so, yeah. Jeez.
But we officially got Roman and Rock are going to be teaming up. They're going to take out Cody. They're going to make sure Rock's going to do everything in his power to make Cody lose at WrestleMania.
And he was pointing. He didn't say Cody. He said, "I'm do everything in my power to make sure you lose at Mania." And he was pointing at Roman the whole time.
Fair point.
I don't know if we have time to go full conspiracy theory. Are you going to go full conspiracy theory on us? The mini? You heard these stories down in the basement?
The Rock is doing a red notice, and it's actually a double agent.
Ooh, nice reference.
But why?
Because The Rock and Cody really never had any issues before this. Like, they were like buddy and everything like that. And it's like, I don't think The Rock would turn heel because he is not letting him face his cousin at Mania.
The Rock paid the art department to make a 50-foot JPEG of a family tree. The Rock doesn't do that.
The Rock, we know, is also very petty. We've watched Hollywood Rock back in the day.
I know.
Yeah,
I guess.
But I don't know, because The Rock wants to be the head of the table. So why would he just like all of a sudden be like, nah, Roman, you can be the head of the table? Well, The Rock's like, nah, I'm the head of the table. I'm the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. I'm the fucking Rock.
Then take it. I don't know. I maybe
right, which is the thing. So like maybe he's using it as a ploy to help get his stuff up over to set up a match for next year's Mania to be Rock versus Roman. I don't fucking know. I'm just tired of seeing Roman being in main event spots at WrestleMania because he's done it like 16 fucking times.
Yeah, he's kind of become the workhorse for this. And we could
right. And hopefully this will be Cody's time. Who knows? We'll see.
If a year from now we're talking about The Rock versus Roman, I really want to know what happened to Cody.
Yes.
Like something's gone.
We're going to put this in a time capsule.
Way off, right?
We're going to put this in a time capsule and revisit this.
Sure. Like, what is happening?
So we're going to see what happens with that. So that brings us to the end of this week's SmackDown. We had the Matrix blow up in our face, but we made it to the very end. So quickly, let's give our ratings. This week's SmackDown, I'm gonna give it like a 7.5. I thought it was entertaining. We progressed a lot of stuff for uh Elimination Chamber. The women did a pretty good job of being switched up upon of like opponents in matches due to Shotzi's injury, which is unfortunate. Get
Sure.
well soon, Shotzi. And mostly SmackDown focus on Elimination Chamber, which I'm okay with, which I'm glad they didn't wait till next week to get everything out of the way that they need.
I would agree with you. I'm kind of feeling 7-ish, but then that rock crush in Utah at the end dropped me to above like 7.5, 7, almost 8. It really brought it up there for me. I love heel rock. I like the rock. I love heel rock. I think heel rock is still one of the funniest, most charismatic entertainers. I don't know. Like there's something about when he turns heel, it's just way more fun, and he's just cutting people to shreds. When he's face, he has those moments, but you got to get him angry and in the right scenario, I guess. So I don't know. This was kind of a throwback to see The Rock like that. The matches were solid, like we talked about. Nothing that wowed me, stuff that was safe. Nobody wanted to get hurt. And like we talked about, this was the first SmackDown of 2 SmackDowns for the taping that night. I'm really interested to see next week just because where the hell are we going and how much stuff did you do in Salt Lake City? You must have been there for hours at that taping. Well, they showed The Rock arriving and it was like, what, 5 Mountain Time?
It was like 3 or something. It
3 or
really...
4 Mountain Time. So they were there hella early just going off. So yeah, 7.5, almost 8 somewhere in there. I would take that.
Minnie, what about you?
I'm gonna say an 8 purely for the Utah is a bunch of entitled crybaby bitches.
Crybaby bitches.
Purely for that line in title, because that tells us we ain't in the PG area anymore, fellas. Rock's out here calling everybody bitches. He's dropping F-bombs and shit too on social media, directly talking about everything. Like this ain't my PG era anymore.
Is this it? Are we out of PG era? We've been in PG era for a long time.
I think we're slowly getting out there, especially with the fact that Raw is going to now be officially on Netflix come the end of the year, so they can pretty much get away with anything at this point.
I hope so.
It's going to be like, hey guys, SmackDown's kid friendly. Raw, titties. No, but
demonetization.
But I like the direction as a whole the company's moving in with what they're doing. It's not exactly as like edgy as Attitude Era, but you can't be more edgier than the 90s. But the direction they're heading is really good. I kind of like this. The heel rock thing is my first time seeing it in person. Being slightly of the younger portion of the youngest member of the Biconics group.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's all really cool. I love what direction they're going. I just hope they, pull the trigger and do the right thing at Mania.
They're gonna milk this out for 2 more years, man. They got video games to sell. They got video game.
Okay, but the
stats
video game
on
the video game 2K24's biggest selling point was finish the story,
and they didn't.
No, that was this year's 2K. Finish.
They're not going to. I have no faith in them doing that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're talking about something else. Jackie, wrap it up.
I have a complete faith in what John says, considering he's the one that predicted Shane McMahon to come back fucking last year at Mania. So
seriously,
every now and then,
Nurse Cat will give you a win. It's so good. But we're gonna get on out of here. So let me do some housekeeping real quick. So if you enjoyed this, check out everything else we have here at the Biconics Wrestling YouTube channel. You can follow us all over the social medias at BC WrestlePod. If you can't commit to watching our beautiful faces, let our voices carry you, since we have audio versions of all our reviews too. And new to the announcement schedule, and we're going to keep pushing this until, after the event. If you happen to be in Middleton, New Jersey on May 18th and May 19th, the Biconics are making their debut convention, debut, where I know
convention debut.
So we are debuting at the New Jersey Wrestling Convention May 18th, May 19th in Middleton, New Jersey. Come say hi. We're going to have a table there. It's not just going to be us there, but there's also going to be some other wrestlers too. X-Pac, Kurt Angle, Billy Starks, Abaddon. Like, there's a whole bunch of folks that we're going to try to go see and things like
Terry
that.
Runnels, everybody's there.
It's going to be really, really good. And we're going to have a table where we're going to be doing merch. We may or may not have a podcast episode while we're down there, but come say hi to some of us boys who are going to be down there. It's going to be a fun time.
I really want to go. I got to figure out how I'm going to do this.
I do too.
We're
I just don't know how.
We're going to figure it out.
We will figure it out. It'll happen.
And we're going to, figure this out. But until then, that is going to be it for us here on the Friday Night Faction review. We will be back, weirdly enough, possibly reviewing the Go Home show like after it happens, which is really weird. So we'll figure something out. It's a weird time, but you will definitely see the three of us on the Elimination Chamber predictions video and the review coming later this week. So we'll see you then. Until then,
we'll review
yourself,
the
take
Elimination
care of one
Chamber
another.
at 4 a.m, just like how Elimination Chamber is going to be. Don't worry.
We'll talk about that off
Good for
camera.
that
But
watch
until
along.
then, from us here at Friday Night Faction, we'll see you later. Ta-ta for now.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's going to happen next time? Well, you're going to have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.